America first. Welcome back to the Charlie Kirk Show.
Okay, everybody, I want you guys to really focus right now on why refi. Private student loan debt in America totals about $300 billion. About $45 billion of that private student loan debt is distressed. Why refi refinances distressed and defaulted private student loans, which are different from federal loans. Bad credit is accepted, and if you have a co-borrower, why refi can get them released from the loan, and you can give mom or dad a much-needed break. You can even skip a payment every 6 months up to 12 times without any penalty. Just call 888-YREFI34 or log on to yrefi.com. That is YREFY.com. You don't have to skip. If you have a co-borrower, well, YRefi can get them released from the loan. Go to yrefi.com. That is YREFY.com. YRefi refinances distressed and defaulted private student loans. You can finally take control of your private student loan situation with a plan that works for your monthly budget. Go to yrefi.com when the payment on your distressed or defaulted private student loan is so big that you can't ever get ahead in your finances. YRefi is surely your best option. Go to yrefi.com. That is YREFY.com. Okay, we have a new announcement, everybody. Our fall tour is coming up. I'll tell you what, you're going to love this. Play cut 53. You guys know how it works. Open mic. We're going to be here for a couple hours, so get comfortable. So you would get rid of all borders. Yes. What species is the baby in the womb?
It's a human. But
therefore, they should have human rights.
No.
He's a liar. You're a typical leftist because you only care about yourself, not about the other people. It's very clear by how you're acting. What can I do to save the country? You answer that question every single day. You are doing something that is bigger than you. A lot of people. How are we doing?
I'm on the move like a runaway. No turning back, I've begun to pace. I do not care what the others say. Listen, I told you that I did not come to play. We about to take it to higher heights. History's waiting when I arrive. Today is the dawn of a new, and I'm about to shovel. Now they cannot hold me down. When you a winner, you learn from your losses. We came from the bottom and now we the bosses. The future is yours, so what will you choose? If you give it your all, you got nothing to lose.
Okay, everybody, welcome back. Email us, as always, freedom@charliekirk.com. So let's go a little deeper on this land acknowledgement thing. If you don't know what a land acknowledgement is, it's, again, this is at the Democrat Party. I mean, we should make fun of them, but at the core of the Democrat Party is this dark, depressing energy. It's inherently nihilistic. It's so about unraveling civilization. They are an anti-civilizational force. Now, is every Democrat an anti-civilizational toxin? No, but the party itself is an anti-civilizational cancer. It is a toxin. And this is why they're losing voter registration data so much, because they might not love the Republican Party. And trust me, I got a lot of problems with the Republican Party. But generally, if you look at this as a macro view, if you look at this year over year, our movement is getting better. We're getting stronger. We're getting tougher. Our voices are getting elevated. We are becoming better understanding of the issues. We're going deeper. We are talking more about family. We're talking more about Jesus. We're lifting people up more. And so overall, yes, we have our little infighting, but I actually think that little infighting at times, and I try to not engage in a lot of it, I think it makes us stronger. I think it makes us tougher. I think it makes sure that we know what we believe. We're getting better at getting out root causes. The Democrat Party is so self-loathing, depressing, anti-Western, anti-American. So a land acknowledgement, I don't even know where this started. I remember hearing this about 10 years ago. This started from the Native American community, the indigenous population, as they call it, indigenous people, okay, which, of course, they were poorly treated many times throughout the 1800s. Everyone can acknowledge that. But right now, they're still in the United States of America. They have an entire part of the government dedicated to them, the Bureau of Indian Affairs. And without a doubt, if you want to see the saddest, most depressing, one of the most just dark places in America, just go to a Native American reservation. And it's not because of the people. There's some wonderful people there. I've been to Shiprock. I've been to parts of Navajo Nation. I've been to the parts right near the border. The alcoholism, the drug use, and the government dependency. Anyway, so you take a step back and you have these land acknowledgments. So the DNC, the major political party in America, started their event, and the Minnesota DFL treasurer, Lindy Swamick, acknowledging the Dakota Party, saying the Dakota people, who are the original stewards of the lands and waters of Minneapolis, and we still live in the system built to suppress indigenous peoples' cultural and spiritual history. First of all, you don't know that. The Dakota people could be lying to you. They could have cut the scalps of the Iroquois people. So you think it's the Dakota people, but maybe history is just written by the victors. So first of all, you just don't know. And this idea that all the indigenous Native American people were super peaceful before we came here, it's called scalping for a reason. In fact, one of the most violent quasi-genocidal events ever recorded in archaeological history was in the southwestern United States. These tribes fought all the time. You see, there's this mythology that has come into our discourse, which is it's the white man that made everyone super violent. Early human history is violence. Not just violence, but horrific torture. There is a reason, I'm not saying it's justified, but there is a reason why in the Declaration of Independence, indigenous people were called savages. They were. Literally, you can read it in the Declaration of Independence. Literally, it's called savages. They are called savages. Not a word that I necessarily would have chosen, but it is what it is. Civilization is why you can have a nice life. It is civilization that tamed humans. Gave you antibiotics. Gave you elevators. Gave you stoplights. Gave you air conditioning. Gave you surgery. Gave you the ability to, if you have a headache, I'm going to take an Advil. It also gave you the rule of law, separation of powers, consent of the governed. The indigenous population had none of that. We came here and we built something new. We came to a barren country with a very violent, quote unquote, Indian domestic. I don't love the word Indian, even though the ridiculous part of the government is called the Bureau of Indian Affairs. And should we acknowledge that, okay, we didn't treat them as well as we should have? Yes. Should we acknowledge that there were sins that were committed? Absolutely. But a land acknowledgement basically says this land is not your land. It is the reverse of the song that we are taught growing up. The song is, this land is my land, this land is your land. It is unwinding that this is our nation. Even though there was nothing here. In fact, you know what the only acknowledgement I could agree with? We should do a land acknowledgement to God. God created the heavens and the earth. Ex nihilo. He spoke order out of chaos. Land acknowledgements are more than just cringe. People say, oh, they're just performative. It's a lot darker than that, everybody. It is a mind conditioning tool. It is a prerequisite. It is a harbinger. It's a canary in the coal mine for what they call an anti-colonizational event. These are the people that won't go to church, but they'll chant indigenous pagan incantations. I'm sorry, Western civilization is a good thing. I'm glad our ancestors came here, and I'm proud of what they built. We'll be right back.